No one tells you this, not the BBC, not the politicians, not even the insiders whispering in Westminster's darkest corridors. But what happened behind the palace gates this week could go down as one of the most shocking betrayals and interventions in modern British history. In a secret meeting so controversial it was kept off every official calendar, Nigel Farage met King Charles just hours before a classified agreement between Starmer and Brussels was to be signed. What they discussed was explosive enough to stop the EU deal dead in its tracks and shake Downing Street to its core. This isn't conspiracy. This isn't speculation. This is the real reason the UK's entire post-Brexit future nearly changed overnight. And in this video, we're about to reveal the secrets that no one dares to say out loud until now. In a revelation that has sent tremors through the heart of Westminster, Britain's post-Brexit future has just collided with a force few anticipated: Nigel Farage and the Crown. Just when Keir Starmer believed he was tightening his grip on Britain's foreign policy, the entire game unraveled in a matter of hours. Sources now confirm that Farage, the political phoenix who recently shocked the establishment with his comeback, bypassed traditional channels and went straight to the top, King Charles III himself. This clandestine meeting, held behind palace doors under intense secrecy, occurred just hours before Starmer was scheduled to finalize a covert deal with the EU, a deal that would have silently reshaped the Brexit legacy. The agreement, concealed under layers of political jargon and soft diplomacy, aimed to reintroduce several EU-era structures into British governance, restoring the influence of the European Court of Justice, initiating youth mobility programs tied to mass migration, realigning UK food and trade standards with Brussels, and even allocating UK defence funds for EU-led initiatives, all without a public referendum. But King Charles, having reviewed classified drafts reportedly shown to him by Farage, was alarmed. Though the monarch holds no formal political power, insiders state he raised constitutional concerns about sovereignty, transparency, and the retransfer of judicial powers abroad. Within hours, the summit was mysteriously postponed indefinitely, leaving EU officials stunned and Downing Street in complete meltdown. Starmer's inner circle descended into chaos, furious, scrambling, and blindsided. Aides shredded documents. Emergency calls were made. Starmer reportedly abandoned a national security meeting to demand answers, furious that someone had reached the king before him. And yet, the damage was already done. Leaks revealed that Farage had assembled a confidential dossier exposing months of secret negotiations between Starmer's team and EU diplomats, conversations deliberately hidden from the public eye and framed as harmless cooperation. The bombshell was undeniable. The Prime Minister was orchestrating a stealth return to EU alignment, and the monarchy, for the first time in living memory, quietly stepped in to halt it. Farage's timing was ruthless. His resurgence in the polls gave him momentum, and his meeting with the king gave him gravitas. Without even holding a press conference, he torpedoed the government's flagship policy. MPs across party lines erupted. Some demanded a formal inquiry. Others feared for their re-election in pro-Brexit constituencies and began plotting rebellion. Starmer's coalition of centrists and ex-Tory moderates began to fracture. One cabinet member allegedly muttered, "This might be the day number 10 lost control of the narrative forever." The EU, humiliated and enraged, began discussing retaliatory actions. Leaked memos showed French and German ministers calling for suspension of cooperation in fisheries, defense, and border security. The entire summit, years in the making, was now in diplomatic ruins, torpedoed not by Parliament but by a single, unannounced royal meeting. This is no longer just a policy failure. It's a constitutional firestorm. The symbolic weight of the crown has intersected with the raw force of Farage's populist power. triggering an unprecedented showdown that has left Britain in a geopolitical no-man's land. What will happen next is uncertain, but one thing is now crystal clear. The struggle for Britain's soul has just escalated to a level never seen before in modern politics. And the very foundations of the post-Brexit order are now cracking wide open under pressure no one expected.